Ricardo, I'm sorry, as I was explaining to you, in preparation for our interview, I had to look up Nicaragua on the internet to learn a little bit about it, and I know that there's some country in Central America that has more murders per year than anywhere else in the world, and I didn't know if it was Nicaragua or Guatemala. I know it was not Costa Rica. Somebody else I just met at this gathering from the industry told me, yeah, I had to look it up on the internet too to see whether it was landlocked or not. Can you clarify some of these basics about Nicaragua?
It will be my pleasure, Charles, and definitely I think I get that very frequently. And one of the questions is, where exactly is Nicaragua? And confusion with Guatemala, confusion in terms of the security levels. So first and foremost, the safest country in all of Central America is the Nicaragua that you found through some research.
That I learned, yep.
Right in the heart of the American continent, between the Atlantic and the Pacific, we have Honduras on the north and Costa Rica on the south. So in terms of security, it's not only important to mention on a Central America level, but as a whole continent, the #1 country with the best scores in the index by the World Economic Forum in terms of easiness of doing business because there's no criminality is Nicaragua, ahead of Chile and Canada. So there's a lot of work, as you mentioned. I think Nicaragua, it's not as yet well known, and some of these facts are important for us as a tourist board to make sure that people know them geographically, in terms of security, in terms of where we are as well, in terms of the growth and what's coming up next for the country. For example, Charles, did you know that the largest rainforest, aside from the Amazon rainforest, is Bosa Was in Nicaragua?
No, I didn't know.
Did you know the largest lake in Central America, a lake between the Atlantic and the Pacific Ocean, with one of the most unique species of fish, including sweetwater sharks, which only happen in that place of the world, is in our Nicaragua? Did you know?
What's the name?
Cocibolca.
Cosimoya.
Cocibolca.
Boya.
Or you can make it easier and call it Nicaragua Lake. So it's the Nicaragua Lake, for us Nicaraguans, it's Cocibolca. So it's the largest piece of water right in the heart of the Americas.
And which is the lake that, if you could hold this, please.
Absolutely.
Thank you for that lovely gift.
My
And as you're saying, it's handmade.
This is handmade.
And it feels like paper, the weight.
It's the lightest type of wood, and it's a very special endemic wood to precisely our surroundings and the islets. There's about 400 islets in the Nicaragua or Cocibolca Lake. So all these little islets have indigenous people and communities living there. Many of them are artisans, artists, who learn a trade, and one of their trades, and this is normally cooperatives, associations of women and children who fabricate these wonderful handmade pieces of art.
From the dead wood.
This is dead wood floating on the lake. They will go in, fish it out, bring it in, and use pigments from local trees, work it by hand, and use as an inspiration their nature surrounding them. So you will see birds, you will see turtles, you will see toucans, so you'll see the whole flora and the fauna.
Back to tourism.
Yes.
How do you get to Nicaragua? Air service, how is it? Let's say from UK.
So from the UK, there's a few options. I think the most straightforward will be through Costa Rica. So you can take a British Airways flight from London to San Jose via Gatwick, and then it's about 3-4 hour drive from Costa Rica into Nicaragua.
Oh, drive. Mm-hmm.
Yes, so that's a good option that a lot of people don't know. It's really, really easy, quick, and it's a wonderful drive.
So you can combine the two, which a lot of people probably do.
Absolutely, absolutely. A lot of people combine them. It's a couple of hours, 3-4 hours drive. It's really comfortable. 45 minutes flight. There are other options as well. Some people, you can go through the United States. You can do Dallas, Managua. You can do Miami, Managua. You could also go through Mexico.
Managua being the capital.
Managua being the capital of Nicaragua. You could do Mexico, or you could go Panama. So at the moment, there is no direct flight to Nicaragua, and I think that's one of the elements that potentially doesn't give yet as much of a light on what the destination has to offer. Something that we are working on to achieve.
So nature is definitely one of the draws attraction. Of course, we covered the safety. What are the other attractions why people would go to Nicaragua to experience?
Nicaragua offers a very unique, very original experience. As I said, actually, aside from the nature aside from the geographical location, there's the people and the culture as a unique element. People, till today, because of the unspoiled shape of the country and the development of tourism having taken its time, we've been very paced in terms of that. So today you go to Nicaragua, and something you will experience the real Nicaraguan as it was 20, 30 years ago. So it hasn't really yet become this sort of element of trying to absorb as much as possible from tourists, but actually...
So you get to see authentic culture,
Exactly. So you see
people, things are not totally canned yet.
Exactly. So all that plastic inside that sometimes goes with really well-organized tourism, which is fantastic.
It has to do with the people, the history, the culture, the food,
The people, the
etc.
culture, the
Entertainment.
The containment, exactly. What's also really attractive about Nicaragua is more and more becoming unique resource and destinations. So there's three in particular I wanted to share with you. Okay, people don't know much about them. We have one called Jicaro Lodge. So it's a small lodge right in the Nicaraguan lake, where now was in the Forbes magazine, one of the top lodges to visit in the world. We have Mukul, right in the South Pacific. Beautiful, beautiful, huge resort with all the facilities. That one was actually in the Times as one of the top destinations to visit. And lastly, we have Necupe, which I just reading just now, Condé Nast, having the top destinations to visit in the world. So all these different magazines I'm bringing up just because of the notoriety that Nicaragua is getting. But ultimately, if I have to tell you, Charles, what Nicaragua offers, again, is between that Pacific, that Atlantic, the water, the volcanoes, the unspoiled, and the ability to experience a country in its real shape, that's what I think.
Quickly, lastly,
Yeah.
value for money.
Really good value for money. We have both. You can really spend, with $45, $57 a day as an average for a typical tourist. That can get you all the way, but you can also have luxury.
Or you could add zeros behind it.
Oh, you can have zeros behind it. Depends how you want to do it.
Wonderful. Ricardo, thank you so much.
My pleasure, Charles.